Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Today we're going to have more of a podcast with photos, kind of a video. I'm going to show you some areas of the Gulf Coast, and I'm also going to go back and show you some older things, pre-Katrina. I'm not going to show you any destruction because we here on the Gulf Coast, we don't like to see destruction. It's sort of triggering for us because it was so drastic and so awful that we recovered, but we're going to be 20 years in 2025 since that terrible incident. But I'm going to show you some things. If you look at the bridge here, this is the Biloxi Ocean Springs Bridge. And if you're coming from Ocean Springs, you go up a little bit over where the boats go under the bridge. And when you go up and you're coming down, you get a good view of Biloxi and Casino Row. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, as you're coming down on the bridge, if you look north, you see the Palace Casino. Okay, it's a beautiful building. It's a non-smoking casino. It used to be the only non-smoking casino on the coast, but now in Gulfport, the Island View on the South Tower side, they have a non-smoking side. So they have both a smoking on the north side of Highway 90, which is the mainstay road of the Gulf Coast, and on the south side, they have the view, which is the towers, sits on the beach side, and they have a casino in there that is non-smoking. Okay, now we're on the other side of the bridge, and as we approach the landing, we see on our left, on the beach side, is the Golden Nugget. And actually where that is where the first casino came in 1992. It was called the Isle of Capri, okay? When they rebuilt, they changed some names of these casinos. It came in as the Golden Nugget. And behind it is the Biloxi Harbor. Across to the right is Point Cadet. They had a big pavilion there where they had the Oyster Festival and different events. That was blown away, and they put a real nice pavilion there for Point Cadet. That's called a Point. But to your left is the Golden Nugget, and right behind the Golden Nugget, you can see it, is Margaritaville. They've been doing some work there. I think they've completed everything. I'm not on the coast now like I was, but I do know quite a bit about the coast because I was there for many years before I came here, and I'm headed back there. I'm just kind of in a holding pattern right now. But as you can see, there's two of them right there together. The Golden Nugget is the first one, and then right behind its little white building, or big white building I should say, is Margaritaville. So we're going to go on down, and we will see a crossover. That's what's left of the Grand Casino. The Grand Casino was on a barge. If you can remember, or if you ever knew anything about the Gulf Coast, they were on barges, okay? So they couldn't be on land. But after Katrina, they passed an ordinance that they could be on the land. And that big open space on the water there, after you see that little crossover that crosses over 90, that was what walked over from the parking lot to the Grand Casino, which was on a barge. The barge came across and hit one of our historical places, and I'm not going to go into it because it's triggering, but it took out that historical place. And then when they reopened, as you go under that walk-through, they opened it as Harrah's. So Harrah's is there to your right after you go under that little walkover. And when that walkover, when you went over it, the first thing you did was you went through the Grand Hotel, the Grand Casino Hotel, and it was real nice. But they tore it down too. Okay, I said I was going to bring in some old stuff, and this is very, very old. It's called the Ring in the Oak. Now, this is right after you pass the Casino Row on the east side before you get to the Hard Rock and City Hall and downtown and where the Beau Rivage is, and I-110 going up to I-10. There's a big, beautiful Waffle House there, a fancy one. And the Church of the Redeemer used to be there. And I used to actually live in the parsonage next door. But Katrina, again, I'm just going to say, Katrina was not a lady. Camille had wiped out the original church, but the fellowship part of it was made into a church. But evidently Katrina didn't like that, so the house I lived in and the other part of the church and the bell tower was left there, but it was gone too after Katrina. So I'm going to say, but one thing Katrina didn't get, and every hurricane for hundreds of years did not get, was the Ring in the Oak. Our coastal towns are known for their beautiful, beautiful water oaks that line the coastal areas with beautiful Spanish moss. Beautiful. And this particular one has a legend behind it. Now, I'm not sure how true it is, but I know this story. And it was right there in front of where I lived. I was pregnant at the time, so it was real, real meaningful. I would go over to the bell tower and stand, and I'd go to the Ring in the Oak, and it was just beautiful, and I could see the water. Anyway, as the legend goes, there were some Indian tribes there, and the coast was inhabited by old Indian tribes. Now, these Indian tribes, they could not intermarry from one tribe to another. But this couple from different tribes fell in love with each other, and they wanted to intermarry. So the man went to the father of the woman he wanted to marry in a different tribe, and he asked the man if he could marry her daughter. And the father said, "Not unless a ring grows in that tree there." Well, there's a ring in that tree there. Now, that's as far as the story went for me. I don't know if they got married. Hopefully, if it's true, the father let it go. I don't know how the ring got there. I don't know if a hurricane twisted the branches or just by some kind of tree genetic disorder it grew a ring. I don't know. It's a great mystery, but that's the legend of the Ring in the Oak, and it stands almost dead in front of the Church of the Redeemer. Now, I want to say this also, and I would like to go visit. On Puffs Ferry Road that goes north of Biloxi, if you can get on Puffs Ferry Road off the Pass Road and go up Puffs Ferry Road, it winds around. They have built a replica of the original Church of the Redeemer, and it looks just like it. But now on this site where the Ring of the Oak is, it's almost dead in front of that new Waffle House they built there. And it's really creepy because When I ate there, I'm like, man, my house used to be right here. But yes, it's a very good legend. I love telling it. And if you go down that way, it's worth stopping and taking a look at because it's been there for hundreds of years. And people pass by it every day and they just don't know. But when you get to well, you won't see Water Street. I want to say Bell Street, Bellman, I think it is. That's the corner of Bellman and 90. Yes, yes. And Water Street runs the same way that Highway 90 does. I hope I'm getting my point across. I'm not going to re-record this. If I get wordy, please forgive me. But there's just some things that I love about Biloxi, and this is one of them. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. Just a sweet little place. It's right across from Harris. Actually, the old stage to the Grand Casino was right here. Little coast flavor there. Good. We had a birthday there. Fun. Okay, here's the Father Ryan House, which is in that general area where we were on the beach. It had a palm tree growing up through the steps, and unfortunately, we lost it to Katrina. But the palm tree remained. And a man took one of the windows that wasn't broken and he painted this cross. And when I worked at Boulevard in the Presidential Library, we had that on display. His sister came in and talked to me one day, and she asked if she could have it back because it was her brother's work and he had passed away about a year earlier. And I said, I'm sure they will let you have it back. And I gave her the director's name and everything, and I'm sure that he gave it back to her as she wanted that for her memory of him. I left shortly after, so I don't know, but I'm sure that they did give it back to her. But, you know, sometimes you can make something good out of a tragedy. But the tree remained, the palm tree. But somebody went out and did some yard work there. They hired someone to do yard work, and he cut the palm tree down. So that was very disheartening. And I'm just thinking, wow, don't smoke that funny stuff, I'm telling you. That was just another tragedy. Moving on along, we're coming up on the city of Biloxi downtown. I need to mention too, the building you see on your far right is the IP. Also, when you first come over the bridge, the first clip, you can see the IP in the distance, and across the bay, you see another tall building, that's the Scarlet Pearl. So I forgot to tell you about that, but if you see those two buildings, that's what they are. But we're coming up on the Hard Rock Casino and the Beau Rivage. And of course, City Hall is up in there, and downtown Howard Avenue. A lot of nice old buildings to see up in there. It's really beautiful buildings, architecture. And the Biloxi Lighthouse right past Beau Rivage, and the Biloxi Visitor Center, which that's a very nice place to stop and see. There's a museum in the back of the Biloxi Visitor Center. It doesn't cost anything. Talks about the families of Biloxi, how Biloxi evolved, and it's got like historical things all throughout there. It's worth your time to stop and go in there and see it. And you can even go up into the lighthouse. Quite a climb now, it's quite a climb. But you'll really enjoy it. It's worth your while to stop and see it. Outdoors at the Beau Rivage, everything you need to host a wedding, a business party, so clean and pristine, very bohemian. You will absolutely love it. Fancy, fancy. Good. This is a Beau Rivage buffet. All casinos have a buffet. And most of them, or all of them that I've been to, have different types like Mexican, Cajun, seafood, Italian, and Southern. Oh, they're so good. You want to stop by there for sure. Well, I don't need to say too much about this. All I want to say is have fun, but don't take more than you can afford to lose. Gambling is to be for fun and not for profit. Okay, understand? I don't endorse, but it sure is fun. I want to take you back to the lighthouse and the Biloxi Visitor Center right across the street north. This is my most photographed piece in Biloxi. I love this staircase. It is gorgeous. It's in the Biloxi Visitor Center. And if you're sitting on it looking at the water, you're looking at the lighthouse directly in front of you, and the water is behind it. I usually take my friends or family down there, and we sit on it and make pictures. It's lovely. I love it. These beautiful stained glass windows were salvaged from the mansion that was to the right of this visitor center. The dancer house was destroyed during Katrina, and they salvaged those beautiful stained glass windows and put them in the visitor center. Isn't this a beautiful staircase? I love it. Also, we have carvings from trees that were destroyed, almost destroyed and mangled. There's an artist. He's got his card on them. I can't remember his name, but you can probably find him through Google. He's done a beautiful job of sculpting and carving art from these damaged trees. Oh, wait, there it is. Marlon Miller. Yes, and he also puts some of his work at Edgewater Mall as well. I've seen his work there. I'm a coast photographer, and I have a beautiful canvas to work with. The coast has so much to offer, and I hope you have enjoyed this today. I'm not a professional speaker, but I do my best, and I truly love the Mississippi Gulf Coast.